Chosen one, what if I told you the lie they built to destroy you just became the truth that's destroying them? Your truth is stripping their masks. It's judgment season. You felt the sting of betrayal in whispered rumors and sideways glances. As they painted you as the villain in their drama, they breathed life into envy and fear, fashioning tales designed to tarnish your name. But now, the very narrative they crafted is unraveling before their eyes. You are not just a passive observer, you are the instrument of divine vindication. Hidden truths, long buried beneath gossip and deceit, are rising to the surface, and with each revelation, their house of cards collapses. Skeptics may scoff, but your spirit knows better. The same voices that mocked you are now choking on your reputation, and the reckoning has only just begun. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with me, because by the end, you will see how every whispered lie becomes the key to exposing their downfall. Your name was their social strategy. You remember the first time you realized your name had become a commodity, whispered in circles where secrets thrive and influence is the currency of the realm. You felt the knot tighten in your stomach when your reputation was used as a bargaining chip, traded for sympathy or leverage by those who stood to gain from your downfall. They crafted stories around your identity and distributed them like tokens, each retelling a transaction meant to inflate their own worth. In moments like this, you're struck by a lonely truth. You are not alone in feeling the weight of reputation used against you. Many chosen ones have endured the sting of gossip as a strategic weapon. The importance of understanding this theme cannot be overstated. It reveals how deeply social manipulation can wound, yet also how powerfully truth can reclaim reality. Behind every rumor lies a hidden agenda, and tonight you will uncover how their tactics, once profitable, will ultimately be their undoing. The struggle to guard your name has not been merely an abstract conflict, but a visceral, personal ordeal. You've seen friends and colleagues lean in, captivated by the drama they spun, only to parrot the lies back to you as if they were gospel. You felt the betrayal in their voices, the confusion in their eyes when you pleaded for evidence of your supposed failings. Each time you tried to defend yourself, the narrative slipped through your fingers like smoke, leaving nothing but doubt in its place. You've questioned your worth, pacing late at night and replaying moments wondering, did they really hear that? Did they believe it? That emotional weight of confusion, rejection, and the pain of watching others profit from your tarnished name cuts deeper than any overt attack. It isolates you, driving you inward as you search for meaning in the wreckage of your public image. Then came the turning point when you realized that this pain was not random but part of a divine design to expose deeper truths. You stumbled upon an obscure reference in the book of Nehemiah 6 verse 5, where false letters were used to spread lies about the builders of Jerusalem in an attempt to intimidate and halt their work. That moment reframed your entire struggle. You saw that your adversaries were following a script as old as time, seeking to silence the chosen through strategic defamation. Yet the same divine promise that protected Nehemiah's people protects you. Truth cannot be extinguished when it is aligned with higher purpose. This revelation shifted your perspective. What felt like betrayal became a signpost pointing toward resilience, and what seemed like an orchestrated attack revealed itself as the prelude to your vindication. Once you embraced this deeper context, the signs of transformation began to emerge in unmistakable ways. You noticed those who originally joined in the chorus of rumors now hesitating when they saw the evidence of your integrity: emails, testimonies, unassailable records that contradicted every whisper. Conversations that once buzzed with criticism fell silent when you stepped into a room with calm assurance. Unexpected allies resurfaced, sharing accounts of your true character that extinguished their doubts. It was as if the tides of public opinion shifted in real time. Their social currency, once derived from your name, lost its value and began to erode. You felt the atmosphere change around you. What once weighed heavily on your shoulders now felt lighter, as though each breath you drew was purified by the revelation of truth's power. Behind these changes, unseen forces were aligning to clear your path. Spiritual currents moved quietly to orchestrate synchronicities that bolstered your position. A mentor whose endorsement you thought lost reappeared at just the right moment. A seemingly chance mention in a group chat sparked a wave of support from unexpected quarters. Even the timing of your daily schedule shifted, carving out spaces for the right conversations to unfold. These were not coincidences but deliberate interventions meant to reestablish the truth. Your adversaries believed their campaign would go unchecked, but faith served as the magnet that drew these hidden allies into the light. Each synchronistic event reinforced that your calling is not dependent on human approval, but on a divine mandate that cannot be undone by gossip or slander. At this juncture, you stand on the cusp of self-realization, sensing that the transformation you've experienced is only the beginning. Fear may still flicker in your heart, whispering that their tactics could resurface or that new narratives might arise to discredit you once more. Many resist fully embracing the shift because they fear vulnerability, preferring the illusion of control in partial isolation rather than stepping forward in full empowerment. Yet true alignment demands that you move beyond mere awareness of their schemes. You must embody the truth that you are not the sum of their lies. Think of the passage in 1 Samuel 17 verse 45, where David faced Goliath, declaring that the battle belongs to the Lord. Your stand against defamation is a declaration that your strength comes from a higher source. This is your sacred moment to choose faith over fear, to embrace your identity unfettered by their tactics. Now, as you recognize this divine alignment, you are called to step boldly into your new reality. Release the doubt that tells you to hide, the guilt that suggests you secretly deserve this treatment, and the hesitation that whispers you cannot trust others again. Speak your truth with unwavering conviction. Share your experiences, not as accusations, but as testimonies to the power of resilience. Deepen your spiritual practice to fortify your spirit through prayer, meditation, or the study of sacred texts, to reinforce your connection to the truth that transcends every lie. Trust that the process that brought you here will continue to guide you, leading you closer to your purpose and restoring every fragmented piece of your reputation. Your next steps are clear. Stand firm, declare your integrity, and allow your unwavering faith to shine a light so bright that no shadow of slander can hide it. This moment is your victory cry. Your name may have been their social strategy, but now it is your banner of triumph. The tactics used to profit from your perceived downfall have only served to amplify your resilience and reveal the depth of your character. Comment strategy if you see how their attempts to line their pockets with your pain have backfired. Let this be the declaration that marks your liberation. Your identity is anchored in truth, and no rumor can redefine the purpose written on your soul. Stand tall and let your light dispel every shadow. They built on your name, but in the end, your truth will strip away every mask they wore. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. You triggered their insecurities. You felt it the moment you dared to be yourself in a crowd that demanded conformity. The flicker of discomfort in someone's eyes when you spoke your truth. The sudden hush that fell over a room when you refused to bow to their expectations. You've carried the weight of their stares, the sting in your chest when you sensed they resented the light you refused to dim. You wonder if you're too bold, too different, too authentic to belong. Yet know this, you are not alone, and your authenticity is not your curse. It is your greatest gift and their deepest threat. In a world that rewards masks and punishes candor, your refusal to conform challenges the very foundation of their self-worth. Tonight, you will discover how their attempts to undermine your light reveal more about their fears than about your flaws, and how that revelation can free you from the shadows of their insecurity. It's an intimate, painful struggle to watch someone you trusted weaponize your authenticity against you. You've seen friends suddenly avoid your gaze, colleagues whisper behind your back, and strangers amplify every misstep as proof that you were always just another pretender. You've replayed encounters, asking yourself, what did I say? How did I reveal too much? Those moments of confusion twist inside you, forming knots of self-doubt that echo every time you step into a space that should feel safe. It feels like walking through a carnival funhouse where every reflective surface lies, distorting your image into something unrecognizable. You crave genuine connection, but every time you lower your guard, their projection of fear and envy rebounds back, making you question if it's better to hide your true self entirely. Yet deep in your bones, you sense that hiding will cost you your purpose. Then came the moment when the pieces fell into place, and you realized this wasn't about you, it was about them. In the obscure passage of Nehemiah 6 verse 10, Sanballat's rage toward Nehemiah burned not because of any real threat, but because Nehemiah's dedication laid bare the plagued complacency of their own leadership. It struck you that their attacks on your authenticity are really attacks on their unexamined lives. Your courage to stand in truth illuminates their comfort zones, forcing them to confront questions they've evaded. Who am I beneath my social mask? What parts of myself have I buried to fit in? In that moment, your confusion shifted to clarity. Their envy-fueled campaigns were not reflections of your failure, but desperate attempts to silence the barometer of their own insecurities. You saw that you were a mirror, and their rage was the crack that let the light in. Once you grasped this deeper meaning, you began to notice changes in your interactions. Criticism that once felt like arrows now register as distress signals waving from the other side of the emotional divide. You catch glimpses of their vulnerability in hurried apologies, nervous laughter, and the way they fumble for words when your presence exposes their discomfort. In meetings, comments meant to cut now land flat, revealing more about the speaker's fear than about your worth. Even your posture shifts, you stand taller, breathe deeper, no longer shrinking to accommodate their unease. These subtle yet profound shifts are evidence that your authenticity isn't being ground down. It's catalyzing a transformation in the social fabric around you. You are not only surviving their projections, you are dismantling the illusions that gave those projections power. Behind the scenes, unseen forces are aligning to reaffirm your standing in the light. Divine currents are at work, orchestrating encounters that validate your truth. A mentor appears with words of encouragement precisely when doubt creeps in. A stranger offers an insight that mirrors the clarity you discovered in Nehemiah's story. Even the universe conspires to bring you into situations where your authenticity provokes growth in others, guiding them toward their own reflections. These synchronistic events are not random. They are the spiritual counterpart to the social mirror you hold up to the world. Faith becomes the anchor, holding you steady as the tides of envy and fear ebb away, replaced by respect and genuine connection. Your calling is real, and every act of authenticity aligns you more perfectly with your divine purpose. At this crossroads, you face a choice: retreat into masks once more or embrace the power in your transparency. It's tempting to don a new persona, to smooth the edges of your truth to avoid further attacks. Many choose this path, convinced that acceptance requires dilution of self. Yet true alignment demands full presence, not cautious compromise. Reflect on the lesser-known prophecy in Zephaniah 3 verse 12, where the remnant is sheltered in humility and truth. Your humility is not hiding, it is honesty about who you are and what you stand for. To shrink now is to betray the journey that brought you here. This is your sacred moment to decide. Will you step into the light of your own authenticity, or will you cower in the shadows of their fear? Now is the time to claim your vulnerability as your greatest strength. Release the fear that tells you to silence your voice and the doubt that whispers you lack worth. Stand tall in your uniqueness, speak your truth with calm conviction, and let every word be a declaration of the power they hoped to extinguish. Cultivate practices that reinforce your authenticity, journaling your insights, meditating on your core values, and gathering with kindred spirits who honor you without condition. Trust that each act of transparency, no matter how small, widens the circle of genuine connection and dismantles the structures built on fear. Your next steps are clear. Lean into the discomfort of authenticity, celebrate the clarity it brings, and let your life be a testament to the freedom beyond insecurity. Carry this truth with you. You did not cause their insecurity, you exposed it. Their attacks were a symptom of their own fractures, not a reflection of your flaws. Comment mirror if you recognize how their fear was a projection onto your soul. Let this be your declaration. You stand unmasked, unbroken, and unwavering in your truth. The moment you embrace your authenticity fully, you transform their fear into an invitation for growth. Step into your power now and watch as the world shifts around you, aligning with the force of your genuine self. And to every soul who's supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. Their power was borrowed from your fall. You felt the familiar sting of watching them rise on the back of your downfall. When whispers spread about your mistakes, you saw their eyes light up with a sense of triumph, as if your fall would raise them higher. Every rumor, every half-truth was a stepping stone for their social ascent. You wondered if your pain was the payment they demanded for their own advancement. It's an ugly truth. In their eyes, your ruin was an opportunity, a gift they unwrapped with glee. But here's the secret they never saw coming. You were never broken beyond repair, and every time you woke with a wounded heart, you rose stronger. You are not alone in this journey. Countless chosen ones have faced adversaries who feed on their sorrow. Tonight, you'll discover how their borrowed power, built on your perceived weakness, has evaporated like mist at sunrise, and how your flourishing has become the mirror reflecting their hollow victory. The emotional weight of seeing someone you once respected profit from your suffering cuts deeper than any open wound. You might recall the exact moment you heard the gossip, that quiet gathering where your name was invoked as an example of failure. You felt your pulse quicken, a surge of shame and disbelief, wondering how they could twist your truth so recklessly. In the weeks that followed, you replayed every interaction, tormenting yourself with, "If only I had," and "Why didn't I see this coming?" The frustration turned into anger, and the anger into a slow-burning resolve. You questioned your purpose. Was your mission meant to be derailed by envy and false narratives? You struggled to find meaning in the chaos, grappling with rejection as friends joined the chorus of your detractors. Those days were dark, and the weight of your reputation's decline threatened to crush your spirit. Then came the turning point, a moment of revelation when you understood that your fall was never theirs to claim as victory. You stumbled upon the little-known prophecy in Amos 9 verse 13, which declares, "Behold, the days are coming, when the plowman shall overtake the reaper and the treader of grapes him who sows seed." In that verse, you saw yourself, the one who sows in tears now poised to harvest joy beyond expectation. Your adversaries believed their ascent was permanent, but divine timing works on principles far beyond human schemes. What looked like the end of your journey was merely the preparation for a triumph they could not imagine. In that moment, frustration gave way to faith, and you knew that their borrowed power would not only slip from their grasp but also become the very soil in which your victory would grow. As you embraced this divine perspective, signs of transformation began to emerge in your daily life, undeniable and profound. You noticed a calm settling over your spirit, as though a silent assurance whispered in your ear, "You will thrive." Opportunities you once pursued with desperation found their way to you effortlessly. Doors you thought closed swung open with ease, introducing you to allies you never expected. You found yourself filled with a confidence that didn't depend on others' approval. Your value was no longer measured by their applause. In conversations, you spoke with clarity and purpose, and listeners leaned in, drawn by your authenticity. It was as if every moment of unfair defeat had been a rehearsal for this new act of flourishing. The very energy that once fueled their rise, your pain, became the wind beneath your wings. Behind these visible shifts, unseen forces worked tirelessly to align your reality with this new season of elevation. Spiritual currents moved people and events into your orbit at precisely the right time. A mentor reached out with guidance just when you needed it most. A resource you longed for appeared through a chance introduction. Even the timing of your own transitions, job changes, relocations, new ventures, fell into place with uncanny precision. These synchronicities were not random but symptoms of divine orchestration, confirming that your journey was not abandoned when you fell. Your faith in a higher plan became the magnet drawing these blessings toward you. The struggles you endured were not punishments but preparations for a destiny that exceeds any human expectation. What they borrowed from your fall became the seeds for your rise. At this crossroads, you sensed the transformation stirring within you, yet a part of you may still hesitate to claim it fully. Many stand at this threshold, fearful that stepping into newfound power will invite fresh trials or scrutiny. They wonder if they deserve this turnaround or fear that embracing their triumph means leaving others behind. But true alignment requires both recognition and acceptance of the gift at hand. Reflect on the lesser-known promise in Zechariah 10 verse 12. I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name. Reminding you that divine strength is your heritage, not your burden. This is your sacred moment, to shed the cloak of past shame and don the mantle of victory. To move forward is not arrogance but obedience to the purpose for which you were chosen. Now is the time to claim your empowerment and walk into the fullness of your new reality. Release the fear that says you must shrink to avoid attention, and let go of the doubt that whispers you are unworthy. Speak your truth with conviction. I thrive because I am chosen. My purpose cannot be stolen or sold. Embrace practices that embed this reality in your daily life. Affirmations that reinforce your worth, mindfulness that roots you in the present victory, and acts of service that extend your empowerment to others. Trust that every step you take in faith secures your legacy of triumph and peace. As you walk this path, your story will inspire others who stand where you once did, offering them proof that adversity can be transmuted into glory. Your peace, your strength, your unstoppable forward motion stand as testament to the fact that what they borrowed from your fall has become the foundation of your ascent. Carry this revelation into every horizon you chase. Their power, built on your presumed ruin, has dissolved under the light of your resilience. You rise like a deer on the heights, strong on the very slopes where you were meant to stumble. Comment thrive if you recognize how your peace and purpose have undone their schemes. Let this declaration echo in your spirit. I am flourishing, I am empowered, and my rise vindicates every trial. Stand tall, for you were never defined by their borrowed authority. You were created for a destiny that hums with the inexorable power of divine design. They rewrote your story, but truth rewrote the ending. You felt the shock of hearing someone else tell your story, as if your life were a tale they could splice and edit without your permission. They painted you as the villain in a saga you never wrote, assigning you flaws you don't possess and scripting scenes you've never performed. Every whispered version of your life stung like salt on a wound, making you doubt your own memory and wonder if you were losing grip on reality. But know this, you are not alone, and your true story lives beyond the twisted narratives they spun. What they attempted to erase with their voices, higher forces have recorded in indelible ink. Tonight, you will uncover how their rewriting of your identity only set the stage for a grander truth to emerge, one that cannot be rewritten by any hand but your own. When their lies took root, you felt the weight of confusion settle onto your shoulders. You replayed conversations in your mind, searching for the moment you went wrong, the word that slipped out of place, the look you gave that signaled, I'm not who you think I am. Each attempt to defend yourself felt like pouring water into a sieve. Nothing stayed long enough to make a difference. You heard the judgments of onlookers, felt the cold distance of colleagues, and mourned the loss of friendships fractured by their convenient falsehoods. The struggle was not merely public embarrassment. It became a private battle in your soul, leaving you to question your purpose and whether you deserved the dignity you once claimed without effort. These moments of rejection and isolation burned deep, forging in you a determination to reclaim the narrative that defined your destiny. Then came the turning point, a moment when you realized that this upheaval was part of a divine curriculum guiding you toward your highest self. In the little-known prophecy of Zephaniah 3 verse 13 it says, "The remnant shall do no injustice and speak no lies, nor shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth." That verse illuminated your path. You were being refined by fire, your character tested so that lies would have no foothold in your integrity. What felt like chaos was in fact a crucible for authenticity. You began to see that every fabricated detail was a challenge to your faith, an invitation to stand firm in truth despite the storm. In that instant, anger gave way to resolve, and you understood that the story they tried to impose was never the ending, only a detour on the road to your true destiny. As you embraced this revelation, subtle shifts began to arise in your life, like the first green shoots after a harsh winter. You noticed the way people listened when you spoke with sincerity rather than defensiveness. Casual conversations turned into moments of genuine connection, as those who mattered saw beyond the rumors and recognized the person you are. You caught glimpses of the real narrative in acts of kindness you once offered without expectation. Those memories resurfaced in hearts you thought were lost to suspicion. Opportunities you had feared lost returned, clearer and more aligned with your purpose than before. It was as if unseen hands were weaving threads of authenticity into the fabric of your reality, realigning every aspect of your life with the truth that could not be unraveled. Behind these outward signs, divine intervention and spiritual alignment moved powerfully to clear your path. Angels and guiding spirits whispered through coincidences, a mentor's timely call, a scriptural passage dropping into your lap, a stranger's compassionate question that mirrored your own heartaches. Each synchronicity reinforced that your calling was real and intentional, that the trials you faced were designed not to break you but to raise you higher. What the enemy meant for imprisonment became a setup for elevation. Every trap they laid out to ensnare you turned into stepping stones, lifting you toward clarity and purpose. Faith served as the magnet that attracted these miracles, proving that true manifestation aligns with the gritty work of integrity and perseverance, not with deceit or manipulation. At this pivotal moment, you understand that transformation is underway, yet you sense a final invitation to embrace a new chapter fully. Many resist this kind of divine shift because the unknown looms larger than the familiar pain. They cling to safety in half-truths rather than step into the vulnerability of full truth. But true alignment demands more than passive observation of signs. It requires wholehearted acceptance of your authentic self. Picture the promise in Malachi 3 verse 16. Those who feared the Lord spoke often one to another, and the Lord listened and heard. This was your call to speak truth, to engage with your own fear and replace it with confession of your real identity. It's in this sacred moment that you must decide. Will you retreat into comfortable illusions, or will you step boldly into the narrative God has written for you? Now that you recognize these signs and the divine alignment at play, the next step is empowerment, claiming your story and living it without apology. Release the doubt that says you must hide your past or pretend your wounds never existed. Embrace the scars as proof of endurance and testimony to your resilience. Speak your truth aloud, share your journey with those who can hold space for it, and let your authenticity embolden others to do the same. Deepen your spiritual practices, journaling the moments of clarity, meditating on the scriptures that affirm your identity, and connecting with a community that celebrates your revelation. Trust the process that has brought you this far, and move forward with confidence that every word of truth you speak realigns your life with your divine purpose. You have been given a second chance to rewrite the ending of your story, not as a victim of falsehood, but as a hero of truth. Comment rewrite if you feel the power of truth reclaiming your life from the shadows of deceit. Let this be your declaration. My identity is anchored in divine purpose. My narrative unfolds in unstoppable truth, and no lie can erase what I carry within. Stand tall in the chapters that await you, for the final version of your story will be one of redemption, clarity, and unshakable faith. Now their circle turns as the lie crumbles. You've witnessed the shift in the air, the moment when they who once rallied around their lies suddenly step back as if burned by the same fire they helped ignite. You feel it in the change of tone when you enter a room. The laughter falters, the eyes avert, and the voices lower. They thought their narrative would bind their followers to them forever, a fortress built on slander and whispers. Yet now those very walls have cracked, and the people inside are scrambling for escape. You are not imagining it. You are not alone in feeling the triumph of this subtle revolution. In a world where social bonds can be tethered to rumor, understanding this turning of the tide is vital. Your resilience is prophecy, and your vindication is a testament to the power of truth. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all supporting members. Your faith fuels this mission. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the super thanks button to support the mission. Every super thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Stand firm, for your truth is the hammer that shatters every false mask.